this morning. Had a heck of a hill climb. What you're gonna see here through the first half of this is some really good hunting that I experienced in Iowa, and a lot of running back and forth between Wisconsin, going back to work, and heading back to Iowa to bow hunt the rut. This is beginning of November into the second week of November. Gonna be walking back out to the truck. It's a great morning. $3. And of course, walking back to the truck, I finally seen what we were after here. Giant of a buck on the neighboring property's ridgeline. Just couldn't get the camera on them in time. We're heading out. Hopefully tonight is better than last night. Even though last night was awesome. This stand did not disappoint this evening either. Really good buck action. He's chasing around a doe, trying to split up a fawn from her. This next morning was a pretty uneventful hunt, but I got to see some really good deer sign up on top of these cliffs. It's amazing how God designed these animals to be able to get up and down this terrain. It's pretty wicked at some of these spots. It's time to go home. I'll be back here in a few days. Hopefully we'll see some more action and some big deer. Just making sure the painted arrow cell phone holder is working. It was throwing my shot off a little bit, but I think I got the consistency back. Now that we split the arrow almost down the middle. Shredded. Right. So starting to head back to Iowa. Just pulling out of the driveway now. Gonna be driving back through an absolute monsoon. So hopefully tomorrow morning it'll slow down and we can get out there. Looks like it's gonna be a scouting morning. Got a little bit of the corn picked. Sitting on the other property this morning. It's pretty quiet. I think the turkeys are flying down. But hopefully it's a good sit. The guy seen a lot of bucks last night. This guy was pretty lucky. Didn't have much for brow tines. I might think twice if he had 8-inch brow tines, but he's got good width. Just needs another year. They always look bigger walking away. This is buck number 2 for this morning. Another 8-pointer. It's a really good hunt this morning. Seen a couple 8-pointers. Gonna get down, check a couple cameras on the way out. Nice scrape right here. Gotta go back home for a day or two, but tonight's gonna be good. Man, it sure felt like it was going to come together tonight. Just too young of a buck showed up. Still fun, though. Coming into hunting HQ.
HQ?
Headquarters. There's the master himself. Take a look at this doe. She was rubbing her back legs together for probably about 2 minutes. It's pretty interesting. I've seen does do this before, but not for this long a time period. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty cold this morning, 30 degrees. But it's a nice change. Hopefully they'll be moving a little more. I already seen a couple of does. This morning I walked past me. I think they're going to come from behind me. Out of that thick stuff. Gotta keep my toes warm. Had to put on the Arctic shields. The old milkweed wind check. Not much for wind this morning. This was a pretty exciting hunt this morning. This smaller buck was coming towards me, and I didn't know it at the time, but just to the left of him, what I think is a shooter buck is coming in at the same time. You can see as I pan over here, this bigger buck's starting to come into the frame. And I realize that it's a pretty good buck. I think it's about a 10-pointer. But this younger buck was just cutting his path off. Right about here is when I'm gonna start to draw back until he decides he has another idea. He checks in the direction of the younger buck that's getting closer to him now. It just turns right around. The quick desperation grunt didn't work. It just called the younger buck in closer. This young buck pretty much just skirts right past me. Luckily, I had the Painted Arrows cell phone mount on the bow, and I could just turn my wrist the whole time, keeping them in the frame without moving my body. Even if I can't directly look at the deer near me here, I can watch them through my cell phone, looking at the screen, so I know when I can move, when I can't move, and what the deer is doing behind me. When the small buck clears me, I turn around, look back down the trail, and that 10-pointer's heading back in my direction. But again, just didn't come close enough. Pretty sure I almost shot one this morning. It was close. Just didn't come close enough, so. Gotta go back to work for a day and a half, and then back. It's been nice being able to review the footage. Like after that last one, I thought I was almost able to get a shot off, just didn't come close enough. But after reviewing the footage a little more, zooming in on them, That 10-pointer was probably just a little bit smaller for what I was there for. So it worked out good that didn't get that shot opportunity. Throughout the rest of this video now, these are some videos from the other hunting members, Eric and Brooke, and they got some pretty good footage. And at the end of this, there's some wild buck chasing and a loud buck growl. Just some incredible rut action. And if you never heard a buck growl before, just wait till you hear it. You can hear Brooke basically, I wouldn't say she was having a heart attack in the tree, but she was definitely excited and catching her breath after what she experienced right underneath her stand. This guy should look familiar. It's that wide 8-pointer with really short brow tines. Some pretty cool behavior that you're gonna see here. It's really sniffing the trunk of this tree. And you can see him sniffing it. At one time, he even steps on top of it. I'm guessing they cross here a lot and leave some scent behind. So he's just checking things out. He actually circles back around that tree and heads right over to what we call the mega licking branch, which is pretty much a full-size tree hanging upside down. I'm guessing there's quite a bit of scent in there from other bucks leaving their scent behind, and once he's done here, he just stands right up inside that tree, just basking in it for a while. This is a pretty nice looking buck here, but my brother was just being patient. Still had quite a few hunting days left. Definitely enjoyed this hunt. Basically came right underneath him. These next two encounters are from Brad's perspective. He's got a pretty nice one underneath here. I almost wonder if this might be the one that I had a close call on earlier. This little mini buck growl that you'll hear here shortly will get you warmed up for the big one at the end. All right, here's what you've been waiting for. This brute of a buck comes in right underneath Brooke's stand here. I'm guessing he's probably pretty lucky that he has a snapped off G2 on his right side there. You can see it on the main beam. The headgear he's missing. He's going to come in, do a little scent check, and leave some scent behind on a scrape. This buck's got a great muscle build on him too. Once you see him stopping the scrape, you can see his muscles just rippling, his neck's all swelled up. And what you can't see is there's another larger buck coming in just outside of the frame view of this video, and chaos just erupts. And you can hear at the end of this how excited Brooke is. Just You can hear the heavy breathing and just the awe of the experience. I've never experienced a buck growl, but what you're about ready to hear here is a very loud buck growl. Enjoy. And here's when Brooke slides her cell phone into her pocket just in case she can get a shot off at the larger buck.